Hey everybody, happy Monday. This is Overpass Live. I'm Eric. I make apps. This is the weekly live stream where we just hang out and talk about whatever we want to talk about. Usually it has to do with apps, but sometimes about other stuff. And, you know, a lot of the stuff was about Play Store and stuff early on, although we still talk about Play Store a lot. I mean, we still got apps out there and everything like that. But even a lot of times talk about client works and stuff now. And just it's just a chance just to hang out and just, you know, answer questions and just chit chat and, you know, do whatever. So anyway, this week, God, what's happened this week? It feels like it's just been really busy for me. I've been like doing a lot of coding. So I've been doing stuff I'm continuing this on for the last few weeks. I got this application where every time I work on it, it's like an hour here, an hour there, just like, you know, in the early mornings or at night, you know, trying to get this thing done. Started out doing it in Flutter, but just switched over to Xamarin. I'm trying to do that ultimate thing where I could use where my admin site could be used with C# and Blazor, and my mobile application could be done in Xamarin and C#. Well, you know, C#. So C# on both places. I could share the same models between them and everything like that. I was trying to do the same thing with like Flutter Web and Flutter, but in the end, I just kept bringing it into too many roadblocks. So I switched over to Xamarin. It's been, you know, it's been cool, you know, getting done a few different client projects and stuff like that, which has been good. Some stuff that's been going on for quite a while, and just, you know, getting stuff to just kicking ass and taking names, man. So it's been good. So hopefully you guys have had a really good week. Let me know if you guys can hear me, just because, you know, sometimes I end up talking for ages. But let's see who's here. We got Mega Man is second. Who's first? Is it like was somebody else first? Matthew's third. Matthew says, thumbnail looks like Eric has seen things. So like the thumbnail, I can't remember what the thumbnail looks like. So like I got some like Ren on my team. She does the thumbnails for the live stream. So now she schedules them, and I give her a whole bunch of pictures of myself, right? But, you know, I'm a guy, so I don't really take pictures of myself. It's like really hard for me to have like give myself a photo shoot or something like that. So there's a few that, like, there's one where I'm jumping up in the air, and there's one where I'm going like this. She loves those. Those like seem to be the favorite. They're on like a lot of the social media. And she keeps saying, send me more pictures. But, you know, dude, I'm a guy. I'm not, you know, I don't pose. I don't like, you know, I don't have the pose. So yeah, the thumbnail, let's see, thumbnail looks like me when I say today the Google Play console wasn't working and still isn't. Is it still not working? So like, this is one of the things. The other day I had a consultancy meeting with someone, and we're going to the Google Play console, and I knew every little nook and cranny of the Google Play console, and now they changed the names of everything. It just seems like it's changing so quickly that, you know, where they're putting everything and stuff like that. I always think it's weird that, you know, like the release overview is at the top, because it seems like you're not going to release as often as you're going to check reviews, but reviews is way down at the bottom when you go look at the Google Play console. So the same with the Apple App Store. Like, you want to respond to reviews and view reviews and stuff like that, so you can find out how the app is doing. That would be the thing you use on a daily basis, but the release to production would be like maybe once initially you might do a lot of releases to production, but then once it stabilizes, you don't really go into those sections. But anyway, a little rant about Google Play. Fist007 says, yo, what's up, Eric? Not much. What's up, Fist007? It's been a while, man. Let's see, what's the news? Like, do you mean actual, what's going on here? Not much for me. I've been, like I said, just working. I'm working on my own application. So the application we're working on is not going to be necessarily, well, it's going to be on the app stores, but it's going to be more like a corporate, like a B2B kind of application. So something I might share with you guys in the future, but I want to just get it done first. Grunty Gunner, what's up, Grunty Gunner? How's it going? Let's see. Adrian Celtic Whisperer says, happy Monday. Hey, happy Monday, Adrian. And then Kevin's here too. Hey, Kevin, how's it going? So have you guys got the email from the Apple App Store this week? Let me see if I bring this up here. Just because it's, like the App Store changed. I know they announced them, but it was one of these things where they didn't seem to be all that cool And now that I've been looking at it, I'm thinking, actually, this might be kind of fun. I mean, a lot of the times, um, when you look at the App Store Connect versus Google Play, Google Play is like really, really complicated. It's like it's got so many different things in it, so many different things to explore and to look into. And the App Store Connect, or iTunes Connect as it used to be called, was always been like very, very simple. Like you can't do A/B testing, you can't do you can't look at like you can't refund things, you can't do all that stuff. So a lot of these things that they're taking care of. Let's see if I can find this email here from Apple developer. Let's see. Share my screen here. So this is one of those things like, so last year, there's a lot of these things that are going to be coming out, I guess, starting on the 25th of January, which is tomorrow. So include multiple items in one submission. I mean, that sounds good. But submit in-app events, custom product pages, and product page optimization tests without needing a new app version. This, this has bugged me so much for so long. So like when you want to play around with keywords and just change some screenshots, try some different kind of stuff, you always have to like release a new version of the application, which just never seemed to make any sense, right? So like, because if you didn't release a new version of the application, the review process would be quicker because they wouldn't have to be reviewing it each and every single time. And if you, and also sometimes you just need to change things that are not the application itself, right? So I would get into the situation where like I just want to release a new version, and then whatever Xcode is updated, or something has happened, and all of a sudden I have an application that doesn't compile anymore, or not without like doing extra work for it and everything like that. So that's really good. Manage your subscriptions and communicate with app review on the new persistent app review page. Another thing, like I said, it's like we're talking about with Google Play. That app review page should be like a little bit more prominent than it is. I mean, I've showed clients how to go in there and look at that, and it's always buried way down, like in the user feedback section. Edit items, edit items in your submission. Remove items with issues from the submission and continue with items that are accepted by the app review. Sounds good. And view a history of submissions created using the updated experience, whatever. So if you're ready to try it beforehand, Google Out Quarters experience. So that's something to look into. It's something like, kind of excited about, just having looked at that. Because even though I haven't released much of my own apps in recent months, like I release apps like almost, well, I would say almost once a week at least. I'm always like releasing something. Sometimes it's just test flight or something, but I'm always using those app stores, right? And it's and there's certain things about the app stores that really bug me because they seem, in terms of usability, they seem to not make any sense. Like, so on say App Store Connect, you can like release a test flight build without having to go through and add an icon and screenshots and all that kind of stuff, because it's a test flight build. You're in the pre-production stages. You need to get it out to whatever, a small group of people to test this application. If you're going to do closed testing, like open testing or alpha testing, not open testing, if you're going to do closed testing for a small group of people on Google Play, you still have to go through and do all those screenshots and the description and all that kind of stuff. Why? Like, you don't need, like, most of the time when you're doing that for your clients, you're like releasing that first build so they can give you feedback, you make changes. So any screenshots you do, you're gonna have to redo anyway. It's like one of these things where it's just like so much more difficult. So try to get away from just sending an APK, because it's like a cleaner process to send a Google Play link through closed link testing. But it's just like, why is it so difficult? There's certain things that just really bother me with the way this kind of stuff works. We talk about usability and usability testing and just like what's best for the developer. A lot of that stuff should probably be reviewed. I mean, what kind of stuff really bothers you? Let's see. Patrick's here. Yay, yo, Adrian. Oh yeah, you like that? My son got that for me for Christmas. So I was looking all over the flat, all over the apartment for some place to hang it, and like the best place was right here next to my desk. But then I knew it would be in the live stream, so it was like, you guys, come on, we're good, right? I mean, we could be casual about this kind of stuff. Let's see. What is Android exported? What is Android exported? Um, amazing to be able to change keywords without a new build. That's like one of the huge things. I mean, it's just yeah, because this is again, this is one of those things where on Google Play you're always just able to go through and change these things. And so sometimes I'd release an app and I would tell the client, you might want to play around with this a little bit. Like if this description isn't working, change the description a little bit. You know, even try some new screenshots. Right? You look at that. You know, look at the feedback report to see whatever it used to be called the acquisition report. I can never remember what it's called now, but you know where it is. It's like in the you maybe we have a look at it here on the live stream, but just to be able to see, like, first of all, if it's showing up in search. If it is showing up in search and they're actually looking at the product page, then and they're not actually downloading it, then that's when you could tweak all that kind of stuff. But let's see. Negan Naidu, have you read Atomic Habits? I have. Well, I listened to the audiobook. I think I was somebody. So lately, I've been. So this morning, I was reading Deep Work. I actually got the book over here. Well, I don't need to show it to you. But I've been listening to the audiobook of Deep Work, and I actually went out and bought the book because it was on these things that I need to get better at it. Like this morning, my whole thing was to sit down and I'm just going to work on this application and just with no distractions. Because most of the time on Mondays and Fridays are just Overpass days. And it's like there's lots of calls, there's lots of just talking to developers, getting stuff done. So like today I was like, okay, I'm just going to block out like 4 hours, which was great. It was amazing. Just to sit down and work on it. But James Clear's book, Atomic Habits, I thought it was really, really good. James Clear, right off the top of my head. Because when I mentioned Deep Work, somebody said Cal Newport. He also wrote Atomic Habits. And I was like, was that him? So, it was James Clear's Atomic Habits. I don't remember very much about it. Because there's like all these books, like James Duhigg's, or whatever, something Duhigg's, Power of Habit. There's like lots of books about habit formation. And it's like one of these things where, it's very rare that there's something revolutionary on this kind of stuff. It's more common sense just getting into it. And a lot of times just reading these books, like with me with reading Atomic Habits, it wasn't so much learning anything new. It was just getting me back into the mindset where that was important to me, like getting me excited about it. But yeah, I thought it was really good. What did you think about it? One App 2 says, hey, Eric, nice to be here this Monday show. Hey, nice to have you here. Let's see. Keegan Naidu says, hi, Eric. Hope you're well. I'm doing good. Yeah, I'm doing really good. Let's see. Chaplain Andrew Kusick says, what's your thoughts on using VS Code for creating an app? I think it's great. I think VS Code is like surprisingly good. See, every year I use the JetBrains tool set. So I use IntelliJ for Flutter and Android development. I use Rider for .NET development on a Mac. I use WebStorm a lot, right? And the reason I use these tool sets is because the keyboard shortcuts are consistent across all of them, and it's just easier for me to do. And sometimes I'll even use app code, which is the Xcode kind of clone, but they all kind of have a consistent interface, same shortcuts, same kind of same kind of tips and tricks and all that stuff, which I really, really like. But it costs like $200 a year. And I used to use Sublime Text, so Sublime Text I was totally fine with. But VS Code is like really. Like, that's the one where I keep thinking, you know what, I might just drop everything, like drop all that JetBrains stuff and just go to VS Code, because you can do so much with it in terms of like Node.js development, Flutter development. If you're going to do Xamarin development, I think you still need Visual Studio for Xamarin development. But again, because they're both Microsoft tools, you got that consistent keyboard shortcuts between both of them. All right, so you can do a lot of that stuff just within VS Code. And the plugin community is really cool. And I think VS Code gives like all those other IDEs a run for their money. And if you're one of those people who says, dude, man, I use Emacs, then, dude, I can't talk to you. We have nothing in common, man. I love shortcuts and just command line stuff. So I don't know, but I think you can definitely use it to create an app, especially a Flutter application. What other applications do you do with VS Code? I don't know if you could do like an Android application with it. Let's see. Yeah, Love It Rocky is a classic. Yeah, it really is, isn't it? Like, I got the box set, right? And I like the it's funny. As a kid, Rocky 3 was the best one, right? Rocky 3 was like the other ones were kind of like and now you watch them and you're like, Rocky. The first one was really good. Second one, not really good. Third one was awesome from a kid's point of view, where like Rocky just goes in with Clever Lang with Mr. T and just like, defeats him. And then and Rocky 5 sucked. The one Rocky Balboa was pretty good. Like, they're all okay. They're all pretty good, especially the later ones. It's like they started off serious, got cartoonish, get serious again. And I really like the Creed ones too. And I think since I'm doing the boxing now, I do the boxing class. By the way, when it comes to boxing, I've been doing it for about a year now, going to the classes, and I suck. Oh my God. The lack of coordination is just, I have the stamina, but it's just the coordination I just don't have, right? I can't see the punches coming. Like, I'm blocking them after they hit me. Like, it's just, that wasn't right. That wasn't the proper block, but let's see. Apavelli. Hey, Apavelli, how's it going? Everything's going really well. Let's see. Keegan says, when you GitHub in the browser and logged in, press Shift and plus for magic. I saw that the other day. I saw that on, it opens up the VS Code light, doesn't it? Which is amazing. I mean, that's really, really cool. I've never tried it. Let's see. Should I try it? Do I have an application I could try it with? Yeah, no, yeah, I'm not going to do it. I'm trying to think if I have an application I can look at. I got some of my own application. Oh, maybe I could. Well, we'll have a look at that in a little bit. Let's see. I just started reading Deep Work also. So far, so good. Yeah, see, I saw that. I read I read it. When you say it's one of these things where like, if I listen to the audiobook, I don't feel like I could say I read it. And I know it's the same. It's exactly the same text. But sometimes you're doing something else, like you're driving, and then you're like, oh, did I miss my turn? And then you you lose your concentration. So sometimes just sitting down to read it. So that's what I'm doing. I was going through the actual book, and going through it. So Chanel, hey Chanel, how's it going? Hey Eric, I have a user who has made 1,000 clicks on a bug in my app. How can this behavior be avoided? You have a user made 1,000 clicks on a bug. How can it be avoided? I guess it would be fix the bug. I mean, it's difficult to know because a bug is something you don't anticipate, right? If it's that's a weird one. Give me more information on that one. Fist007 says, a business question. In the UK, when an international client pays you, say, from the US or France or whatever, do you get the payment in USD, Euro, or does it get automatically converted to pounds? Usually it automatically is converted to pounds. This is a weird one because you're talking about like a huge fee in terms of that payment coming through. So, God, what have I done for others? Yeah, somebody has to pay. First of all, it's an international payment. You have to be, what is it? I'm trying to think the last time. See, I pay a lot. Say a lot of times I'll pay developers in India, so I'll be making several £1,000s to an Indian development company, and then like the fees for a bank transfer could be like in the hundreds, right? So I use other services, like I use a Zimo over here, AZIMO, which is a lot cheaper. There's probably a lot more, right? I've thought about getting a USD bank account just for those kind of situations, but for the most part, it's they're fine just to pay in local currency. So I just send the invoice as I would any invoice, except I don't think I need it. I don't think I have to charge them VAT. Actually, I can't remember. Let me come back to you on that one. I'm not okay. Can't remember the last time if I charged VAT or not. I do remember asking my accountant about it. My accountant told me what to do, and I did that. Let's see. Oliver. Hey Oliver, how's it going? It says, hi Eric, how long does it usually take you to finish an app project, start to finish? It really depends on the amount of time you have to put into it. Like when I did my first one, I started off just doing it in the mornings, like between 4 a.m. and 6 a.m. and then I would go work the day job. And that was taking a long time. So in the end, I hired a development company in India to do it for me. And they, oh man, they just, they said it would be like 8 weeks. It was like, I don't know, something like 20. It took a lot longer. It was way later than they said it would be. The code was like not very good, but it was done. Right, and done is better than perfect sometimes. So I was at least able to get something out there on the market and not be a perfectionist about it. Right. I've had other stuff where it really depends. It's sometimes you're just flying by it. Again, it goes back to that deep work thing. Um, there's been many times where I hire a developer and I think, okay, this is what I want to get done. We have a meeting. We talk about like how I want it structured, everything like that, and they'll go away, and it could be weeks or months with very little progress to the point where I just take it and over maybe a weekend or a couple of weekends, I just get it done, right? Because a lot of this stuff is not as difficult as you would think if you have the experience in order to do it, right? So it depends a lot on the experience, how complex it is. You know, to give an example, app number one for a small business, they need an application so their users can scan barcodes and see what the barcode says, right? So it connects to a backend server, whatever. That would be fairly simple, right? They have the backend server. Another one would be example number two would be someone wants to have a GPS. No, they want to have a stock management system where an e-commerce site where they wanted to have a lot like they want a back-end website where they can actually upload products, keep track of inventory, keep track of shipping, have star reviews, have like viral stuff. That could take a long time. Sometimes people will come to me with like they want a quote on something, and it's just they don't really have the budget for something that's really, really huge. They say we got to tone this down to something that's simple. So so it really depends. But what you should do is do that first thing first, because what you don't know when you're starting is whether or not there's a market for it. So if you could like create like your first, minimum viable products, your MVP, which is again from starting from zero. Another book on my shelf. Is to do your minimum viable product. So just something that people can use in order to just to see whether there's a market for it, right? So I'm a big fan of if you read the 4-Hour Work Week, Tim Ferriss, he talks about how he would just take out ads on the book that was not yet written, and he would test out different titles that way. So he's testing out the market before he actually titles his book. So we'll create these Google ads, see who clicks on what, which ones get more clicks. So then that way you can see which one is a more catchier title, right? If you were going to build a restaurant in a town, you could either sit outside the restaurant and count footfall going back and forth, or you could like create an advertisement for that restaurant saying, coming soon, register your interest here. And if nobody registers their interest, then maybe you might not want to bother with it. So in the app world, what you could do is do like a simple App Annie application or just a minimum viable product. Put something on the App Store and just see what the traffic looks like. See, are people finding it? Or even start working on the ASO technique. So starting to get people going to it while start building those backlinks and all that kind of stuff while you're actually building up the product back there. Some people will really disagree with that. Like some people will say that that's a bad strategy. You need to have a launch event. You need to the balloons and the big launch and everything like that. But me, I'm like, just get something out there and just build it. It's going to take a while for it to snowball. There's nothing worse than putting something out there with all the fanfare and no marketing budget, and then nobody's coming to see it. If that makes sense. Let me know if you guys disagree with that. Robert T.A. Robert, how's it going? Says, I might be taking a project that uses Construct 3. Have you ever used Construct 3? Any idea if it's good? I've looked at it, because it's a JavaScript game framework, right? I've looked at it. I've used a few JavaScript gaming frameworks, but I've never actually used it. I think it was Construct 2 before, wasn't it? You think? No, I mean, I think when I was looking at it, it may have been Construct 2. But yeah, I was looking at it, because as a Corona SDK guy, I was trying to find something that I could use aside from Corona SDK, because it was, now it's Solar 2D. My Solar 2D apps are way out of date, and I always keep thinking about rewriting them, but I haven't actually done that. So Robert, is that your decision to take Construct 3, or is that being forced on you? It's weird. Like I had someone contact me today saying they have a project they want done, but they want it done in React Native. And I'm like, oh, I don't know if I like the idea of them dictating like whenever you get a project where you have a bit more flexibility and choose the right language for the job, it makes things a little bit easier. Fistable says, I use the Visual Studio for .NET backend and Xamarin Dev and VS Code for Angular. Yeah, that's what I would think. And front-end dev. You don't need anything extra, in my honest opinion. Yeah, I like using Writer. Because I use ReSharp. But back in my old Windows days, I was using ReSharper with Visual Studio. So I kind of like that. Yeah, I'm definitely not an Emacs guy. There's you too. Let's see. Robert says, Rocky is better, but Rambo is a good one too. Yeah, Rambo was pretty good. It's funny how they're coming out, aren't they? They're just dragging these old guys out to make one last time. They're making another Indiana Jones movie, right? They're just thinking, okay, forget about the last time. We're just gonna make one more, right? And you're like, dude, he's hanging in there. So, let's see, what else could Sylvester Stallone should do Cobra 2. Why not? Just run the gamut. In 2 days, Eric. Oh, sorry, Chanel says. Oh, it could be. How can this be avoided? I don't know. If it's really bad, like if it's having an adverse effect on the actual store itself, like you may want to, you used to be able to go through and set the value, like if you know who they are and if you're able to track the clicks and you can see what device type they have, maybe you could disable it, like make it an incompatible device type. That might be something you do temporarily until you get it fixed. Because if it's just one person who's causing all that issues with the clicking, then maybe that could be it. So let's see. Patrick says, it's the height of irony to listen to the Deep Work audiobook. I suppose it is. If you're working out or doing whatever. The Play Console Android app not working. Yeah, I checked the recent reviews and a lot of people are complaining it doesn't load. Oh, is it not loading? Does anyone? Robert says, does anyone here actually use crypto for making and receiving payments? This is something I've been thinking about. So I think last week or 2 weeks ago, I finally started getting into crypto. Last week I was learning. Last weekend I was trying to learn Solidity to do some just to do something on Ethereum, because it's something that everyone keeps asking me about. It's like the big buzzword, and I was like, dude, I just can't think of any reason to use this yet. But for the cryptocurrency, I think I put like 180 pounds over the last couple weeks into crypto, and it's now worth a whopping 142 pounds. Like I've lost like 40 pounds or something like that. And I keep looking at it and trying to think, maybe I should just put it straight into Bitcoin and not Ethereum, or try some other ones. But, I don't know. It's weird. But I do think about that because of the international payments and everything. Like if we can use cryptocurrency for payment, and I have been looking into that. Like, could we get cryptocurrency for payments? Like if I was to say, okay, we don't Overpass, like the next client project we do, we'll accept crypto payment, and then they pay us in crypto, and the value of that coin, whatever it is, goes down, then it would be like, well, that would be like the volatile markets must be good for speculate, or for actual, day trading and everything like that. But for income, it'd be kind of scary. Unless you took that crypto payment and went immediately and cashed in on it, I guess. That might be. Yeah, I'm a bit scared of it still. I get notifications that there was an error over and over again. Let's see. Chaplain Andrew Kusak, hey, how's it going? Says, what's the Android manifest XML of my app? What is it? It's the properties. Most of the properties of your application have been in a manifest file. So like the version number, the permissions that are required, the app icon. If you're gonna have a broadcast receiver, that's in there. It's like the It's the one thing that looks at. It's like the, I mean, most most applications have that kind of thing. In Ionic, it was a config.xml. In a lot of JavaScript language, it might be the package.json. It would be the plist, the info.plist file in your Xcode applications. Yeah, I mean it's that one. It's like the 1 bit of configuration thing. So yeah, every Android application has an app manifest. See, John Reed. Hey, John, is there a way to distribute an app without using 2 main app stores? Yes. Well, so you got the 2 main ones being the App Store and then Google Play. The Google Play, you could use Amazon. You could use. There's lots of alternatives. You use Huawei. There's lots of other different ways. We talk about distribution. In fact, if you compile to an APK file, you can just send that to people and have them install it that way. They'll have to go through and set their phone up to do it. And that's getting more difficult to do. With the iOS side of things, you could try to distribute it as an enterprise application and get an enterprise distribution certificate. And that way you could actually put it on a website and it would download it, but then it would have to grant permissions to your company. But again, you still have to get, you still have to pay for that from the Apple. They still have control over that. I mean, Apple is definitely monopoly when it comes to that kind of stuff, right? If it's going to go on their phone, they have to know about it some way or other, right? You can't just create something, have it go out there. And I've had lots of people ask me stuff about, like, I want to have this application that spies on my girlfriend or something like that. They'll say something like that. And it's like, well, you can't really do that because the permissions, they go, well, what if we were to hack it, right? And Android, there's a lot of easy ways to do that. Although the permission, I mean, the sandboxing is still really good on Android. It's not like it's easy to do it, but it could be possible. But with iPhone, you're talking about having to jailbreak it and like all this kind of stuff. So I know, yeah. So those are the only 2 ways I know of. Would be because on the iOS side, you really have the 3 methods of distribution. You have the App Store, you have the volume purchasing program, which is now called Apple Business something, and then you have the enterprise distribution certificate. Let's see. John, PWA is a web app. Okay. Oh yeah. You could do a PWA, but then you're talking about that's actually creating another application. But yeah, that would be a way. Shaggy Dwarf, hello from Indy, Russia. Hey, how's it going? Let's see. Celtic Whispers. No APK. No APK, Android and iOS, but client has very small user base and no need for public distribution. Okay. Surf Topics, Uncle E. Hey, Uncle B, how's it going? I see. Joe says, if you've got an Android app developed in Kotlin, could you publish it to the Android store? Yes. Yeah, I think they prefer that. Yes. Yeah, you could. I mean, that's kind of like, that would be like the logical next step for that Kotlin application. Adrian says, I'm testing out testing out a prototype for the 3rd app in my mental health fantasy app trilogy. Would you have time to offer a costing, or are you crazy busy these days? I can have a look at it. I am very busy lately. And I think one of the things is I used to be like, I had like loads of developers I'd work with, but then it got so much, I was doing so much management that I just started doing stuff on my own. But if it's something, I could have a look at it if you want, and we could schedule like a quick chat about it. Maybe I could help you find a developer for it, or at least talk about like, how we would go about doing that. Mr. Burser says, should I publish my own apps on the store, or should I work as a freelancer for clients, which is better for making money? I think you should try to do both, right? So if you're starting, like, first of all, like if both were like equally successful, you would publish your own apps, right? Because client work is, you don't own anything at the end of it. You're basically, you're a gun for hire. You're doing the work for them. Like you've got somebody else's back, and you're making sure that their application is successful and their application is all that kind of is doing well and everything like that. So, which is perfect, right? So I do client work because, you know, it's more of a, like a guaranteed revenue kind of thing, you know, so you know that you're going to be, you know, you paid for the work that you do. Whereas if you're doing the application, you're taking on all the risk yourself. So you're hoping that that app will be successful, and then you'll have a market for it. Sometimes if you're hired by a company, they already have a user base. They already have an audience. So they're not even that worried about that. They just want something for their users or their employees or their, you know, whatever, just another marketing way to market what they already have. And if you're starting off on your own, you're basically taking the risks of doing that. But if you can make it work, then definitely do that. So what I would suggest is that you create that app on the side. That way you're not, you know, putting yourself and your family at risk of like financial ruin because of, you know, because you're taking on that risk. And then that way you could do the client work during the daytime. Your skills will get sharper doing the client work, right? You know, it's, you know, if you're really, and I think if you do that, if you do the two-pronged attack, like where you're like, you're doing your own applications and you're also doing work for client, you're going to be much better doing that client work because everything you learn, you're like, you know, you're eager to learn it, as opposed to a lot of other developers you might work with. It would be like oh, do we have to do that? Oh, geez, like, really, is that, you know, I really, you know, it's just like they moan and groan about everything that has to be done, and you'd be like, dude, that sounds really cool. That sounds exciting. The best developers I've ever worked with are the ones that are like, ooh, you know what we could do with this? We can use this. We could do that. Hey, you know what we could do? We could do this. You're like, oh, that would be awesome, right? And you're actually getting excited about the project, right? And the client benefits from that because you're like, you know, you're going to build the best thing ever because it's goes, you know, and whereas other people are like, oh, well, you know. So I think that's the best way to go forward. Let's see. Joe says, I'm in Amazon store. Haha. Oh, can you publish the Amazon store? Yes, you can publish the Amazon store. So yeah, I mean, because it's still it compiles into the same thing. So, let's see. Fist Above says, I don't understand the whole crypto rave though. If you need cash, is right away. If you need to cash it right away, then the anonymous hype won't mean a thing. It's weird. It is weird. It's one of those things where I'm hoping that it does level out, because it seems like a really cool idea. It seems like a really great idea, but it's like if anybody could just create a coin and it becomes this weird, you know, weird stock market thing, then, you know, like, and this is where you guys have to say, Eric, you don't know what you're talking about, because you know what? I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm just guessing, right? But in my opinion, what it seems like to me is, you know, like when I was a kid, we had VHS and Betamax. We had two different types of video recorders, right? Growing up, we had Betamax, right? Betamax, we knew Betamax was better, but VHS won out, right? You still had the mini disc and the whatever. You had the, you know, HD TV and Blu-ray, or HD and Blu-ray or whatever. What was it? HD DVD and Blu-ray. You always have these competing things. But with crypto, you have like hundreds of thousands. I don't even know how many different ones there are, right? So you have all these different currencies, right? And they're like, they fluctuate. They go like, it's down, you know, 12% today, up 12% tomorrow, whatever, or down 5%. And it's like, you know, so it's like the kind of thing where, yeah, if our actual currency actually did that, we'd be like, dude, that'd be just crazy. But it does seem like we do need like a decentralized way of doing that, because, you know, well, yeah, we need something that's just that the value persists, other than, you know, governments printing it and everything like that. So that's just what I think. But like I said, dude, I'm a software developer. I used to work in a bank, but I didn't know banking. I'm a software developer. That's what, you know, I do. You know, my job is to put a button on a form, and when you click on it, it turns blue. That's like the extent of what I do. Let's see, and hashtag Monday. Yeah, hashtag Monday. Hashtag Monday. So, yeah, that's like that's it. That's the end of the questions. What else were we gonna look at? Let me take a look at Google Play. I want to see if that's actually down at the moment. Let's see, leave the site. Let's have a look at this real quick. Oh yeah, I don't seem to have any. Seems to be working okay for me. Anyway, so that's the last question. Nice short live stream today. Thanks everybody for joining this week. I'm trying to get my New Year's resolution is try to get 2 videos done a week. As long as it's fun, as long as I think it's going to be interesting, and I'm not like, you know, I'm not scraping the barrel for content and trying to put out all this, you know, whatever trendy stuff, you know, hoping that's stuff. Let's see. Wait, Patrick says, what's the use case for crypto besides a crime and crypto itself being used more than a Ponzi scheme? We're still searching for a use case. Yeah, I think I like the idea of just international payments and have something that's not linked to a single country. Like when I have to pay, when I have to pay someone in India or someone in the States has to pay me, they have to pay all these huge fees in order that's the thing that attracts me to it. But like when we talk about like using the Ethereum as a back-end platform, that's something when we talk about using the blockchain, like that's something that seems to be really like is really trendy. It's like AI, right? It's AI. I can think of a lot of really good cases for AI. I can think of a few good cases for using a blockchain, but most situations you don't really need either of those. Like at least not yet, right? So a lot of times, like I'm seeing people trying to shoehorn that into their solutions as if that's going to make them like, you know, cooler. But it's like, dude, you don't need AI in this application. You don't need a blockchain for this back end because it's like, you know, first of all, it's slow and it's you know, it's the use case there is just not there. But yeah, no, I agree with that. So anyway, everybody, thanks very much for joining the live stream. That's it. I'm going now. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye. You guys all say goodbye. All right. Talk to you guys next week. Have a great week, and I'll talk to you again next week. Later.